So will you be printing this?
Yes.
Do you know?
So,
yeah, are you looking into doing that? Yeah.
The book is I have a Hong Kong publisher,
Mm.
and I was going to do a print to order set up for this book, but in fact, before I got around to that, he contacted me and asked if he could publish this book. So I'm very much it's the text, the new text, and in fact, the ebook is only the Jema, but the published book will be the print version will in fact include the 13 extra prints, which this other collector has very generously photographed and allowed me to print.
Wow.
So the other one I filled in on the new Jema book, the new edition, is print 14, which was missing from my collection, but this other collector has it. It's of the moon goddess. So so this does actually have a new, the new edition actually has an extra print in it already for the Jema. But the other 13 that were included originally just as a loose grouping, which have become detached from my set over the years, will be included in the print version.
Wow.
But not in the
ebook.
Ebook. But yes, hopefully that print book will be coming out, if not the end of this year, the beginning of next year, early in the first third of next year, I would imagine. It will include 93 prints in total, a revised introduction to give full information on the origin of the collection and the technical information of woodblock printing. And then it will have extra, has 13 extra mention with all the backstories to those mentions.
No way.
A lot more about the iconography, because of mention have got their own, wealth. Good fortune. Of course, the five good fortunes are redolent throughout them all.
And did you are you able to separate, because there are different mentions as well, just like recently Jim actually asked me about them, and whether I'm not sure whether you across this other guy called Victor Yue. He's from the Singapore Heritage Society, and he asked me whether do I know of any mention that are eunuchs, and I told him how they look like. So I wonder, will they be featured in one of your 13
eunuchs? No, I haven't got any prints as far as I know
of the mention.
To be honest, I've been, there's a eunuch tomb in Beijing to one of the court eunuchs, and it's now been turned into a museum.
Really?
So it's a tomb. But there's no eunuch specific iconography at this tomb. So they've got the.
Is there a name?
They've got, excuse me 1 second.
It's all good.
I'll just get my book. I don't remember absolutely everything I've ever written. 1 second. Just look this up. ACD 116. 天意 116 is the 天意 mu. So 天 as in field, yi as in yi.
Like this in a dot. Okay.
He was a Ming Dynasty palace eunuch. There's also a temple in Beijing, a bit of a temple in Beijing, actually Beijing's oldest wooden temple. Again, I can't remember the name of it, but it was the chap who founded it was a eunuch. Again, an influential palace eunuch during the Ming Dynasty, but they seem to have avoided. They used to adopt children and. I think the whole idea of being a eunuch in a way was quite a repugnant thing. I've never seen because you were seen as incomplete, because you were seen as not being able to leave progeny, then you failed your ancestors, really. So I find that the eunuchs tend to be famous. They tended to invest in infrastructure projects in temples and things like this, but I don't see. I'm not sure you could really have a. I might be totally wrong, but I can't see how you could have a eunuch deity or a eunuch iconography, really, because in a way you're self-denying it.
They do appear as mentioned.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yes, they do.
There you go. So something
they do appear.
I do have literary mention. What ones that I just believe were literary rather than military. I mean, you also have the sort of, well, you have mentioned tigers. And Jangaling, that image that you were kind enough to feature on one of your videos. That but they were, technically, I know they were amulets as well, but they were also
used as mentioned.
They could be used as mentioned or attached to clothing, even.
For kids clothes. On amulets on kids' clothing on Duanu for the 5 poisons.
Another use of them was just to keep foxes out of the house as well. They used to put tigers or eagles on the door as well. So but yes, as far as eunuchs go, I might have, because I do have some that I interpreted as literary. There are in this in the print edition of my book, there will be mention with children on them, but not the usual one of the money shaking trees. And, this is more, or the Chilin Song. This is more. It's children surrounded by toys, really, and I think but all the toys, actually, when you start looking at them, they've all got iconography that's to do with becoming an official or earning a lot of money or
really
talented in the Confucian sense. So I think, I mean, I've identified a lot of them, but some of them I got really no idea quite what the meaning is. But things like king, vases with flowers in them, of course, are peace, reflecting safety, and things like them playing musical instruments. Like the not the erhu, the guqin, which of course being able to play these properly is an indication of very high level of culture and self-possession. So portraying a child with them is a desire that they will eventually become capable of mastering such a skillful instrument.
I'm really excited. I'm just saying this, waiting for your book to be printed so I could get my paws on one of them. And but thank you for sending me all the PDF. I was just waiting to see.
Those mention are much closer to the prints that originally got me interested in Chinese iconography, art iconography. And like I said, that my whole approach to this was not originally an interest in Chinese folk religion or the deities. It was more to do with the woodblock printing and artistic side. But because so many Chinese woodblock prints involve
the deities,
I had to find out something about.
That's where you open the can of worms.
Indeed,
but
because China, when you can study any topic in China, and it can be very simple on the surface and have a very definite purpose. You suddenly find it's not only is it a very deep ocean, but also that everything about it informs you about every other aspect. One, that if you're interested in Chinese deities, there's a lot of, I suppose, cultural infrastructure embedded in them that has nothing to do with deities, but which will inform you about an awful lot of cultural aspects of China. So I think it's one of the interesting underpinnings of studying Chinese culture is that whatever you're interested in, whatever cultural aspect you're interested in, martial arts, woodblock printing, martial arts, music, tea, anything, travel, history, anything about it, or religion,
Yeah.
will eventually give you enough background information about really Chinese culture in general that has nothing to do with the specific topic you're interested in.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And so you can, in a way, understand more about a new topic faster.
Yeah.
But you can understand, it gives you, I suppose, it informs you a lot about other aspects of Chinese culture as well. So whatever you're interested in, you'll find that if you study it hard, you will find there's a lot more about Chinese culture embedded in it. You know, this drama is very Chinese in style.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, the idea, the style of the depiction is very much influenced by, has filtered down from India originally.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah. No, it's just interesting.
I wanted to include a mention of that as well.
Yeah. No, I just can't wait to read the new PDF. I mean, I've only opened the old one.
It's not radically different, but it's hopefully there's a few new insights there, which will hopefully correct some assumptions I made earlier and add a few things that I'd missed. And of course, hopefully every year I'll learn more information and be able to improve this book, because I like you said, it's very hard. I know you've got various books on woodblock prints, and there's a few, particularly in Russian collections. There's a very good book, it's translated from the Russian, that's got quite a few of these prints in it. But there isn't a book that is just on these, really.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I wanted to make this available. This is to be honest, originally part of my reason for publishing it at all as an ebook was, I've been in publishing for 35 years, but I've never done an ebook, a project that taught me an awful lot about this subject. So I learned a lot doing it. Yeah, it taught me about e-publishing, how to get a book out. Yeah, and those were the prime motivators. So I'm very flattered, in fact, that somebody with as much knowledge as yourself has found that there's material in it that is still of interest to you. Because a lot of my stuff, as far as I'm concerned, is very secondhand. It's really interesting, and I actually I've actually used it many times. Like I've quoted it in a couple of my other videos, and I've always tried to point, some references or some story back to this particular paper horses. And no, I mean, I've got to say, I am really very new to this topic. I've come from the interest in woodblock printing and Chinese culture in general, rather than deities specifically. And I am very flattered that somebody such as yourself, who's got so much detailed knowledge about these deities, is using this as a reference book, because that's more than I really expected. I thought this might be a gentle introduction to people, to show, to introduce them to the idea of Chinese folk religion. And it's interesting. It really is interesting. As I say in the introduction, it's an intriguing tangle. You can't look at it is. And I was just hoping that, say, students of China and Chinese might find this of interest, and of Chinese art. But I really am flattered that somebody such as
I find it, and every time when I have an idea of a new video to do, I would always tap into your blog or your Flickr.
Well, it's very kind of you to say
first, and to see, do you have a print? Is there something that I could relate to as well? That's where I, get my information from, and obviously from Jim and Ronnie and all. Yeah. But I always go on. You're the first website I go on to. Your website.
I'm hoping that shows that the book is at least easily accessible, and if it piques your interest, you can then go to much more informed people such as Ronnie and to find out in much more detail what I'll sketch in the basics of it. At no time was I trying to pretend that this has got all the information, and I'm very keen to give Ronnie, Ronnie Pinsler's website information. It's such an incredible resource, and that of course came from Keith's. Keith's. The basis of it came from Keith's.
His collection.
has been re-researched and added to by Ronnie.
Yeah.
This is another reason I just wanted to get information out while people still know about these deities at all. Because who knows, you know, in 50 years' time, maybe that it'll be such an antique subject there really won't be much information available at all.
But I think that there should be ongoing interest, like with Jim's classes and the lectures that he does and things like that. The kids are still really interested because he's doing all the manual printing of his woodblock prints in class. Yeah.
When, you know, mechanical lithography came into China in the 1920s and 30s, people stopped making woodblock prints. Yeah. Because you could do them you could print 1,000 in a couple of hours as opposed to
compared to
you know, a week or two doing them.
Yeah, so, I know. So yeah, and he, you know, he's given me a whole set of his woodblock prints as well.
He's mentioned you quite a few times that you know, I know how supportive he is of your project, because you are doing an extraordinary, you know, you're doing an extraordinary job. You're interviewing the mediums, which is really, you know, the only real medium interview I'd ever read before was I think I sent it to you, the fox spirit, the fox medium in Shanxi province, and really, you know, it's still extant in Malaysia and Singapore, possibly in possibly also in Indonesia, but you know, there's very little of that around, and you can see within a few generation or two, really it all going again. Yeah. So
but I was, I think, just very blessed to be able to speak to them, or for them to open up to someone who a layman like myself.
Well, again, this you know, this book, launching this book has put me in touch with you and opened up an entirely new community to me as well, which I didn't know about. So in the last year, I've met so many more people who share my enthusiasm. Another aspect of enthusiasm. So my main, you know, one of my introductions to China was actually through Chinese martial arts. That's one of my few areas of expertise in Chinese culture. So there again, over the years, I've met and you know, become part of a very big community of people, similarly minded people, and it is it's sort of very touching to find that to delve into a completely new aspect and immediately find there's a lot of people out there.
And then you'd be surprised. There's generous and the support that you receive, and like Jim's always encouraging me, and Jim, if he wasn't for him egging me along, I would have done more.
Well, I don't know how you got involved originally, but you know, like I said, like yourself, it's just fantastic to find there's a community of very generous people out there who just want to share their knowledge, and you know, people like Ronnie as well, who've set up, you know, a website that has taken years.
Thank you so much, David. Sorry, it's took a while for us to get together, but I think it's worth. Thank you so much again, though, for your time.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
but
I mean, as I said, thank you so much for, in a way, taking me seriously, because in many ways, I'm an absolute newcomer to this, and I'm very glad that I put out something that can be of use to.
Very useful for me,
both beginners and experts like yourself. I find
I'm not an expert at all, but thank you so much.